Hello, fellers. Good evening. Welcome back. It is a great day today, Friday. Not necessarily for Bitcoin and crypto, but, you know, a correction is necessary here and there, so that's no big deal. We've endured many red days in the past, and this is no different. So we smile and we continue forward. Bitcoin's current price is 115,704. I know we were so close to 118,000. We tapped 117,928, and then we just decided to drop. And we were expecting some sort of a movement today. Turns out it was toward the downside. We ended up hitting a low today of 115,116. So that was a bounce right on that trend line, the uptrend line that I have drawn, which there's no connection here. The connections are from over here. Meaning that, hey, price action at play. That's pretty good. So from here, what do we expect? Okay. We know we're going into Saturday, and you know what I'm going to say. Probably not going to get a lot of volatility. It wouldn't surprise me if this uptrend gets broken. Not necessarily broken, but I'd say maybe readjusted. I'm not saying we're going to become a downtrend from here. No, that's not really going to be the case at all. We could see the super trend rise up a little bit due to a lack of volatility tomorrow. Just going to like tighten the thing up a little. And we might even see some price decay from the price action over here. So this is kind of what I would expect. A super trend at 114,000. Price decay. And, you know, either Sunday or Monday, whenever that may fall, hopefully we continue our trajectory back to attempt to hit that 118,000 once again, meaning that we would just have to adjust our uptrend, something like that, which would still look fine in the long run. Worst case scenario, we break 114,000, but we should not drop lower than 112. I don't think that's going to happen. There's no real reason for that to happen. So until then, I'm keeping this kind of a projection in mind, if you're wondering what I think. So there you go. For the time being, though, price action is at play, and one could think, yeah, we're going to bounce up from here. But on a Saturday, why? Yeah, I don't see a big reason why. So, obviously, if there's nothing going on, there's more Bitcoin being mined as time passes, so, you know, that just adds to the supply. That's why we get a little decay when there's very little to no volume, right? We saw that kind of thing happen over here, right? Bit of a decay. This happened last week, Saturday. So expect something similar. We had a good movement overall. A lot of volatility happening mainly 2 days ago when we had the Federal Open Market Committee decision, the interest rate decision, of course. That, you know, a bit of uncertainty. What is Jerome Powell going to say? Does he see what we see? What are the rest of the feds voting on? The dot plot, everything, projections. It's looking good, if you've missed it, and just in case, you know, for this week. So, yes, we are expecting a total of 3 rate cuts this year. First one already down. The next 2 meetings, we will get a rate cut in each one of 25 basis points. I'm sure Trump would like more, but, you know, there's still always, like, the chances of any of that changing, depending on how economic data performs. But I think we are very far overdue for rate cuts, and it's, like I said before, it's rare for us to cut a rate once and then just not cut out for a few meetings. Like, it's going to be a couple of consecutive cuts as things progress, right? So we could expect to see that same kind of, you know, history repeating itself in that sense, I'd say. So, yeah. So what we've got for Bitcoin. I have increased my exposition. Not in anything specifically, actually. I've entered new positions. That's what's happened. I entered a position in Compound, which I'm sure I covered yesterday. Probably. I don't know if I entered after my stream yesterday. If not, I'll cover what I was entering here either way. Big exposition into Compound, but I think it's a relatively safe play with a lot of upside potential. It's similar to what Aave does. So you should expect that same kind of movement. When Aave starts taking off, you'll see Compound take off. They do similar things. Athena, I'm being a bit cautious with it, but I decided to enter it nonetheless. H-bar, I wanted exposition to H-bar, so Hedera. I know they're getting an ETF soon, so I want some of that. I know we're getting a Polkadot ETF soon, and we have a max supply cap now with the new governance vote. So Polkadot should be good for long-term kind of plays, but I'm still playing it safe nonetheless. And BitTensor, Tau, I've also decided to enter a small position there. I would like it at a cheaper price, so that's why I haven't put too much in. And if price does continue dropping, I will be entering a little bit more. So we have that. I don't know if, yeah, Litecoin, I think I increased my exposition as well. An order would have been filled here. Yeah, it did. I was expecting it to drop until this uptrend line as well. Similar price action to what we're seeing with Bitcoin in terms of how close we are to the uptrend, which it looks good. We bounced right on that. I think it increased my average price. It would have, yeah. So now my average price is at 113. It's disgusting, but whatever. It's not a big difference. 112, 113, practically the same place in the long run. What matters is the volume that you've got in there, the amount of margin, right? The more money that's in it, the higher your return will be. Or loss. You never know. But yeah, I'm still confident that Litecoin can make some sort of a move. It's just lagging behind, but that's necessary sometimes. Because when people least expect it, boom, Litecoin is just soaring above everything else, and it's like, why is Litecoin going up? Oh, well, you'll see. I feel like I say the same thing for many of these large cap tokens like XRP and all that. What is going on here? Why is my price not showing? Whatever, price is 114. I'm going to refresh. I think it's probably due to my VPN. Probably. But yeah, that's the Litecoin move. I don't know what else I entered new positions, because things were dropping today, so more positions could have been filled that I'm not aware of. I'll just check on this. Nothing specifically for USDT other than Tau, BitTensor, and Compound. For USD Circle, what did I buy? Ever since today. Athena, Litecoin, Hedera, and Polkadot. Okay, so yeah, nothing major. Just opening new positions and increasing exposition into Litecoin. Those are the only changes to the portfolio so far. The game plan remains the same. Why am I looking at USDT chart? So this was like 6,000 a couple days ago. Well, just yesterday, right? So, yeah, I'm not touching anything with Bitcoin. That'll stay the same. I skipped over Ethereum. That's how irrelevant it is. We have Ethereum at 4,469. Okay. The uptrend realistically invalidates below 4,400. If you're looking for exposition into Ethereum, I could not suggest 4,400. Low 4,400s, right? As an entry. It's up to you to decide. I don't want to take part in anything right here, so I'll stay out of it for now. For always. Maybe if Ethereum drops below 4,000, then, and maybe just then, I will consider entering. I don't know, sometimes it'll have its big moves. But like I said, it's the same scenario for any large cap. We also got Solana. Tracing down 3% today. 240 almost is the price. 231 could have been a good entry. But I don't know. We're getting new pivot levels. And I feel like every time I want to buy Solana higher, even though I have my trigger orders a little lower, I want exposition into Solana because it's so good. But then again, I don't want to, you know, ruin what I've got going on. Or FOMO in. I'm yawning like crazy right now. So, I mean, yeah, like before my entries was 178, I still regret selling that, and I will continuously regret selling that. It wasn't my fault. It was the fault of the price action here. Well, it kind of was my fault. I put a stop loss at 200, and it hit that 200, and then took off afterwards. Yeah, so whatever. We'll let it do its thing. I still do have Solana on standard futures. XRP kind of breaking this uptrend over here. Might either have to readjust, or I'd even go as far to say as we could see a drop to 292 and then a bounce on XRP if we are to see some sort of a decay. Because we do have this uptrend that has got, you know, that's going well for us so far. I don't plan on touching XRP here at all. My entry is at 279 still. I'll let it ride. Sui dropping down from almost $4. A lot of red candles today. Finally, we hit a support at 363. Lowest point was 361. We have now climbed back up a little bit to 366. My trigger order did not get filled, and it actually got bumped up the super trend, right? So I might even have to readjust this one. This is me just wanting to increase my exposition into Sui, which, realistically speaking, if this order did get filled, because it did the meme on me, right? Like, it was a cent away from getting filled. Barely. Right? Now, realistically speaking, if this did get filled, my average price, sure, would have gone up to maybe where this support level is. And with this rise over here, yeah, it would have been super green. Because, like, the exposition would have been large. But would I have sold? I don't think I would have. Even though you do have, like, a sell signal when RSI is overbought. Right? So that would have been the area where one could consider taking some profits. But I want to hold on to Sui for a medium term, right? Because we're expecting the alt season to come soon. And I want to take as much advantage of that as I can. So I'm going to load up as much as I can. Even if things are showing up red here, I know and I have seen these turn green. And when they turn green, they're super green. And I want them to be as green as possible, if you know what I'm saying. So that is my thought process here. So this drop does not upset me. Nonetheless, matter of fact, I would like it to drop a little more. A lot more, actually. Come down to this uptrend line. Hit 340 again so that I could buy more. I really want more Sui, and I want it as cheap as I can get it. I've done a decent job, I would say, at dropping my average price as much as I could. Although one could say I probably should have done a better job. What is this line from? Literally support level and this low point. Well, this low point didn't really exist. I would not have guessed that line. A bounce here, unless like a Fibonacci would have guessed it, and I'm just too slow to figure that out. I'm gonna go to a 1-day chart. I'm talking about like this line to this line. Actually, yeah, I would have predicted that bounce at some point. I was too naive to, I guess, put an order there. So I missed out. Or maybe I did buy there. I don't even know. I don't think I did. I think I had my order at like 306 or 303, something like that for Sui. Long time ago now, I don't remember. Whatever. It's going to take a while if we want to see that happen again, which I don't think it will. Nonetheless, I put my order there just in case we do see a drop like that, because Sui is a volatile coin, so we'll see if it does hit that at all. But for now, the time being, what do I do? Should I move this up? It's going to increase my average price by a lot. I don't know if I want that. I don't know if I want to catch that heat. So I think this is still possible. I'll leave it at the 344 because we could get something like this, and we got plenty of time for this to happen. I don't know what next week is going to bring. I don't see anything major that would stand in our way, so blindly I would assume we are to head higher. But I don't know, maybe I'm missing something. You always got to be prepared for the opposite scenario. One must always have cash available on the side, just in case of a drop, because if you think it's going to go up, you're going to be wrong. Just guaranteed. The opposite will always happen because it's you versus the market. So, yeah. Moving on. Chainlink at 23.55. I like that we flipped the uptrend, but we didn't really break this downtrend. What do I want to do with Chainlink here? 489. That's a little too low. I don't know. Can we even see a drop to 22? I don't think we can. Well, I mean, like low 22. These numbers are at a bigger scale, of course, so it's harder to be like exact with these. I don't know. I'll shift it up. I'll put this at 2260 something. Let me get an exact number here before I commit some mistake. Here's a good idea. 2266. I'm actually going to put it exactly on that Fibonacci line because I'm not taking any chances. This thing is going to meme on me once again. I'll drop 1,000 here. I'm feeling generous with Chainlink. There we go. We'll see how that plays out. Should be pretty good. If it drops below this, I'm pretty confident that Chainlink will not go below $20 anymore. For this bull run, at least. Q4 2025, sorry. I still stuck in last year. That's crazy. No, but this year still has a lot of potential, and we might see a good alt season this time around. So I gotta prepare for it as much as I can. Ideally, I would want to go all in at the best prices. But you're gonna have to sacrifice one of those two. If you really want to, like, make the most out of this alt season. So it's gonna be hard, but that's part of the game. That's why we study. Moving on, World Liberty Financial. Barely moving, I think. Oh, we hit a good high over here, 2366. It's kind of lateralizing at this zone. I might FOMO in and just enter at 21, honestly. Because I've been waiting at 20 for a while now. I shouldn't. I'll maintain my self-control. It says we're in a downtrend. We're not really in a downtrend. We're actually in an uptrend because you look at USDT chart, which has more historical data. This is what we got going on for it. Pivot levels are looking the same, so that's a bonus. Hey, look at this, though. 1928, 1929 seems to be an important level for support on World Liberty Financial. I think I might do something like this. I'll put a trigger order here, which is very likely to get filled with some decay. And if we rise, good. If not, and we continue dropping, worst case scenario that can happen to World Liberty Financial is a drop to maybe this level over here. At 1928, 1929. And that should drop my average price as if I'm purchasing where I want to purchase it today, right? Because I have my order at this line. I'm drawing a lot of lines here, but I hope you understand. That should drop my average price over here, and it should give me some good exposition to it as well. Probably even lower, because I plan to put a little bit here and a lot more over here. That is if and only if the price does come down to here for a bounce. Lower than this? Why? Why? What's the reason? What is Justin Sun even doing? I don't know. I might have to research this a little bit more. It seems like Justin Sun's kind of moved on to his own thing, so one could hypothetically say all the hundreds of millions of dollars that Justin Sun has invested into the project, due to it being blacklisted, is now out of the circulation, which is a good thing. And they still have a lot of plans to do with World Liberty Financial. I'm more excited for maybe an exchange that they might release. I'm getting excited with all these exchanges with Hyperliquid. We have a new one that's just come out called Aster, which we'll be discussing. Has to do with Binance. basically a competitor to Hyperliquid. Hyperliquid, of course, you know, widely accepted, uses Solana, etc. We're also seeing now with Binance wanting to do the same kind of thing. I checked it out. It's a little buggy, but it's like really new, so that's passable. But the decentralized exchanges, you know, Binance is the top centralized exchange. They might as well make a good decentralized exchange. And the token is out. We can trade it. I checked the price action for it, and it's just a big green candle. So I don't know what to do with that. But yeah, I'll be discussing that later on in the stream. That's what I might do with World Liberty Financial here. Yeah. Let me go to USDC for it. Please appear here. Yeah, that's what I think I'm gonna do. So my first order will go here. My second order will go at 1929 over here. Because the super trend, we don't see it here, but it's kind of been coming up like this. And it's currently right over here. So I'm just going to pretend this is our super trend and not this. Although it's still helping us in terms of determining where the resistances are, because it accurately predicted 2 of them right over here. So yeah, do I even need a calculator to average this out? I don't think I do. 0.21. I'm a big man. I can calculate this myself. 2.8. I'll drop. How are we feeling? 500? Yeah. No risk, no reward, pal. And I'm getting rid of this. Should I even get rid of that? I don't even know. What would be the next level? 1929. We'll do the 1,000 in there. I'm starting to second guess myself. What if I do 250, 500, then 1,000? I don't know. I think I'll leave it there for now. Once this gets filled, I'll see how my brain reacts to it. Cardano, 89 cents. Boring. 93 was its high. We got resistance at 95. We need this above $1 ASAP. I don't plan on increasing my exposition to Cardano. I'll leave it there. 715. It's pretty low. But I mean, we didn't have any significant drops either. Now I would like to see it at 85 again, so I could probably consider increasing my exposition. But I don't think I will. Not at these prices. If it drops more, I'll consider it if we approach this uptrend line. Stellar Lumen at 38 cents with 968 millicents. Bouncing off of the support, that's pretty good. I hope we do maintain it, because I would not like to see it break the support, because then we'd have to adjust this uptrend, which this uptrend is from a very long time back. And I'm hoping we maintain this for the rest of the bull run. We'll see. 41 resistance. I've got plenty of exposition into Stellar Lumen, so I'll leave it there. 395 profits so far. Not too bad. I think that's all. I mean, I was looking at Compound. I was telling you guys that I was entering. A similar deal to what Aave does with lending, right? We dropped to this support, 43.81, so I think that's where I filled. Yep. Dropped my average price to 44.55. And I think this is a relatively safe play as well. It's USDT chart, so we'll have enough historical data to show you what I'm talking about. In the weekly chart over here, look where my liquidation price is currently, 29.87. Well, below 30, right? When have we seen this below 30? 2023? Everything was at a super low point in 2023. And it's 2022 as well, right? That's not concerning to me at all. For these recent runs that happened when, you know, February, March 2024, we hit a good high over here. I do think I talked about Compound yesterday. I'm recalling the chart price action. We lowest point, August 5, we hit 3381. That was our lowest point ever. And that was really bad. And Bitcoin was 50,000. Now we got Bitcoin at 100 and almost, yeah, okay, 115,000. And Compound is still at these prices. Man, when that hype comes back in, I'm not saying it could hit 140, but I'll put my target at 84. It's relatively safe risk reward play in my opinion. What have we got going on here? Let me get this. I've not tried one of these in a moment. I just want to see exactly how much risk reward ratio we've got. Probably 2 or 3. 2.71. 2.75, let's just say. That's probably less than that because my entry is a little lower. But yeah, you get the point, right? The odds, this is all a thing about probabilities. We see these kinds of spikes in times of good optimism, like the first run in February, March of 24. Trump election victory, October, November 24. Just recently, though, we have not seen a big rise on it. I think that's part of it is due to Aave beating its competition, but like, hey, even if we like lateralize a little bit, I still think we're gonna be in profit. Maybe I'll close it out early, whatever the case may be. But I like the volatility it brings within these ranges. And it has a relatively low market cap compared to the rest of these guys, right? So a spike up could happen, right? That's kind of my hypothesis on all this. I pressed to delete and it went page down. So I think it's relatively safe. I think I have a bit more orders. If I'm not mistaken. I have one more. Yeah, and that's like my last Hail Mary play, right? If we get something like this, and then we start going up again. Because this happened, okay, September 1st. I don't know why we dropped there September 1st. But come on, to be liquidated at 30, be my guest. It's not going to happen. What else we got? Athena. If you don't know what this project does, it's basically stablecoin provider, but it uses Bitcoin and Ethereum as collateral. So it's fully decentralized finance, right? To back up their stablecoin. Whereas USDT, USDC, they use traditional finance. They use bonds. They use stuff like that. US and dollar reserves, right? To back up their token to always stay one-to-one. We have seen DeFi stablecoins in the past. I've explained the story with Terra Luna. Algorithmic stablecoin that only used Terra Luna as its collateral for UST, the stablecoin from that project. But ultimately it failed because you couldn't rely on an altcoin to help your stablecoin. But now we're focusing on the most potent crypto of them all, Bitcoin, and something relatively safe to kind of, I guess, micro adjust, which we could use Ethereum for. So that's what's going on here. Why didn't this get filled? Did I put these orders after? I might have. Because my average price should have been lower. It's fine. We're close to it either way. So this next order in Athena might get filled. How much do I have right now? Yeah, 500. It's currently at a $40 loss. Oh, so scary. No, I'm not concerned at all. I've not checked liquidation prices on this, though. That one might be a little concerning. Just a little bit. This is a recent huge pump from Athena. I plan on keeping Athena just for like, not a long-term play, short-term. It's basically like, I don't know, similar to what we're seeing with Ethereum, with this congestion at a high point. Like, picture Athena 60 cents as Ethereum's 4,000, right? That's kind of what I'm seeing here. And then, I don't know, 90 cents as Ethereum's 5,000. We should see something similar because they are slightly related in some sense. So we'll see. Instead of investing in Ethereum, I'll invest in Athena. Although I did notice the inflation on it is pretty bad, so you don't want to keep this one for too long. Although I think it has a max supply, the issue is the token unlocks are pretty significant. If I'm not mistaken, I think this coin, it might have been another one. I'm probably mixing up my tokenomics here, but in August, hundreds of millions of dollars was released when it's usually something like $20 million every couple of months. They released $100-something million into the ecosystem, which did not look pretty. And we had a lower market cap in the past with a higher price. And we currently have like double that market cap and half the price currently. Like that's the amount of inflation that's going on this coin. So it's not a good idea to hold it for long term is basically what I'm getting at. Uptrend is broken, so we're at a downtrend for this now. So be it. Let it fill up some of my orders and then, you know, let it do its little rally thing. I'll take some quick profit on it. I don't know, maybe at 90 cents because that's like I pictured it, right? The 5,000 for Ethereum. Something similar to that. Just to give you some perspective analysis. That's what I've got going on for that. Hedera. I just want exposition to Hedera, so call it FOMO, call it whatever. There's small entries on each one of those lines there. Nothing much else to say here. Polkadot, yeah, call it FOMO as well. I do want some Polkadot now. I've changed my mind. So I'm expecting a bounce here, hopefully. Keeping the uptrend intact. At least what we're seeing with the super trend. I haven't really drawn a trend line yet. But worst case scenario, I guess 397. But I think Polkadot will actually do really good. Maybe even at $7, I'll just get out of it early. These I don't plan to hold on for too long. So by October, you might see me sell these. Maybe even November. We'll see. BitTensor, Tau. This is something I probably do want to hold on for a while. So that's why I have these really tight orders at these levels. Because I want as much as I can. And if we are experiencing a drop that would break this uptrend, which we currently are seeing, I would like to see it approach this uptrend line, which is why I have one order here, one order here, one order here, so that we can go and, you know, have our average price somewhere over here. That would take us higher, hopefully. That's my little game plan on how. Yep, I think that is all, really. I've not checked on Sonic, but it's kind of coming down a little. Yeah, it's fine. Let it come down more. I want more Sonic over here. Although, this line is... Why did I pick this line? I think I was looking at these two. I averaged out these two prices. Yeah, that's fine. Although, I don't think we're going to get it filled. How much is this? I don't want to cancel the order and put it in again, so I'm just going to do the calculator thing. 514492 times 29. Okay. 0.2912. It's 500. That's pathetic. How much do I have here? Oh, that's a sad existence. You know what? Ooh, we're kind of dropping right now. I don't know. Do I trust this level for one more day? Like a Saturday DK? Sure. Do I just buy more over here? I already purchased here. That's the issue. Like, I don't know if I want to put another order right at that green line. Because we're about to hit it. And we could bounce from it easily. Or maybe not. I don't know. We're not necessarily oversold here. Oh boy, this is getting tough to decide. Clock is ticking. It's like wanting to drop. I don't know. And this I do have to like modify yes or yes. Because it's only 500 and that is sad. Oh, but this is USDT. Okay, okay. What if I do 500 here? At that green line, and then I'll leave this 500 here as well. That should equate to the 1,000 that I'm trying to picture in my brain where I want to put it. I think I'll do that instead, yeah. Alright, here we go. 29.38. Drop 500. Should I just go all in 690? Yeah, why not? No. I do have more USDT in other accounts. I'll just transfer it over later. Or I could just convert my USDC to USDT. It's no big deal. Yeah, I'll leave that there. 500. at 29.38. If it gets filled, so be it. How's Aptos? Holding strong. That's really good. You have a support at 448. Still in the green. Uptrend is still intact. Aptos also very, very good play. Personally, I am a little proud with Aptos. Until proven otherwise, of course. But yeah, it's holding strong. I don't know, maybe we do follow our price action over here with Bitcoin and continue higher. I spent 35 minutes on technical analysis. I'm sorry. We have a lot of news to cover, so we'll get to that. Moving on. So, the big news today. Trump and Xi Jinping phone call happened. And just as I predicted, Trump came out with the statement of, I just completed a very productive phone call with President Xi Jinping of China. Yeah, the post is here. We made progress on many very important issues, including trade, fentanyl, the need to bring the war between Russia and Ukraine to an end, and the approval of the TikTok deal. Which, by the way, got delayed until December, the ban for TikTok, so for good reason, right? This was to be expected. He also agrees with President Xi that we would meet at the Apex Summit in South Korea, that I would go to China in the early parts of next year, and that President Xi would likewise come to the United States at an appropriate time. So, they might be buddies again. I don't know. After Trump called them out for that military parade? I don't know. But, yeah, they're gonna be visiting each other frequently next year, is what it seems like, and they'll be seeing each other later this year at the Apex Summit in South Korea, whatever this is. When will that happen? November 2025. What does APEC even stand for? Where? Not where. What? Okay, I don't even have the... What is APEC? Asia Pacific Economic Cooperation. That's what it means. Okay, cool. Thank you. Looking forward to APEC. The call was very good. We will be speaking again by phone. I appreciate the TikTok approval. We both look forward to that meeting, is ultimately what he said. Trump will also be hosting President Erdogan from Turkey at the White House on September 25th. We'll see what they discuss there, looking on many trade and military deals with the president, including the large-scale purchase of Boeing aircraft, major F-16 deal, and a continuation of the F-35 talks. How is Lockheed Martin right now? Either that or Smiths and Wesson. Some weapons company. Oh man, it's still pretty high, huh? That's not even that bad. We've been higher. This would have been good to buy. 407, 410. This gotta go. Maybe for next year. Because I'm expecting one of our crashes next year to be because of a war or something like that. These stocks have to go up. We'll see. Trump also gave his comments on a congresswoman named Ilhan Omar, who has been causing some mayhem in Congress because she keeps talking about, I don't know, something about immigration or probably Palestine. I don't even know anymore. She's saying that, well, he's saying that her country of Somalia is plagued by a lack of central government control, persistent poverty, hunger, resurgent terrorism, piracy, decades of civil war, corruption, and pervasive violence. 70% of the population lives in extreme poverty and widespread food insecurity. Somalia is consistently ranked among the world's most corrupt countries, including bribery, embezzlement, and a dysfunctional government. All of this and Ilhan Omar tells us how to run America. P.S. Wasn't she the one that married her brother in order to gain citizenship? What scum we have in our country, telling us what to do and how to do it. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Wow, calling her out in front of everybody. Impressive stuff. I'm just adjusting here, by the way. if you hear me shaking a little. And it is, I don't know if this is actually confirmed, but people on Twitter are already saying it's confirmed. Yeah, she apparently married her brother per marital records to get to get legal status in the United States. And now she's a congresswoman deciding whether or not we get gender reaffirming care. Right? The DOJ needs to start the process of revoking Omar's citizenship immediately and deport her back into Somalia or put her in prison. I don't know. She apparently is a bad person, so we'll see what they do. Speaking of immigration, Trump has signed the H-1B visa executive order. What this will do, it will raise the fee that companies pay to sponsor foreign workers. They now have to pay $100,000 per year per employee. Before, I think it was 1,000, which makes sure that the employees don't hire foreign workers when they don't have to and hire Americans instead. Trump is really trying to get, push all these companies to hire American workers. Because that is a big issue. With a lot of immigration, they take up the jobs. Sure, they might be skilled at what they do and all of that. If that is the case, they better be worth the price to pay. Companies are going to have to start, bringing out the big bucks to pay their employers, because that's how business models work. They want to get the most work out of a person and pay them the least amount of money possible. That is why cheap labor is a thing. The immigrants that come here work illegally, but the corporations still hire them and get them working, because what are you going to do? Complain to the government that we're not paying you minimum wage? So it's that kind of thing that they've got going on. But if they want to do things legally, of course, they want to bring skilled workers. There's a lot of outsourcing that goes to countries like India. That was a big thing that Trump also is cracking down on. And Trump has proposed, hey, look, if there are actually good Indian, IT support or tech developers, whatever it is, get them to train our Americans so that our Americans can learn all this stuff and do well in their jobs and pay them what they're worth, right? So we'll see. We'll see what comes out of that. I want to transition a bit and talk about Canada, because it's getting a little wild, whatever's going on over here. Nothing too crazy, but it's just corruption, politically speaking, I'd say. When this Build Canada Homes thing was announced from Mark Carney, the plan that will spend $3 million to build one house, and it's not even that many, not even enough. They showed this thing, they built like a in progress of being built house in the background while he was holding this press conference to announce this plan, and it was all staged, of course. It was staged to look like houses were being built, all just for his housing announcement. But after the announcement was complete, the press conference was over. It was all torn down after. And there's people confirming that, yeah, that is exactly what happened. This is the lengths our government is willing to go in order to make it look like they're getting things done. They're not. They got a company to build a 3-story housing structure for an announcement and photo op. It's literally just a wall. Then they tore it down. What an absolute waste of money. Yep. So that sucks. Mark Carney went to visit President of Mexico, Claudia Sheinbaum. He says, well, thank you, President Claudia Sheinbaum, for welcoming me. In a more divided world, Canada and Mexico are elevating our partnership to create greater prosperity and security for both our peoples. Apparently, they were talking about trade, which we do minimal trade. If we're supposed to be talking to anyone right now for trade deals, it's the United States. We do the most trade with them, and we are being tariffed the most by them. Address the elephant in the room first before moving on to other countries. We're looking for other alternatives, is what it seems like. We're going to cry to European Union. We're going to go cry to Mexico now. Just get it done. Work with Donald Trump. He ran on the promise that he would be the strongest candidate that stands up against Donald Trump. But clearly, what happened to reciprocal tariffs? Those are gone. We gave up in that sense. And We only visited Trump once, and that's about it. Nothing came of that. It more seemed like Trump was willing to. He was more persuading. How do I say it? He was he was like convincing Mark Carney instead of, you know, taking over Canada so it could become the 51st state. That's what it seemed like the time that when they had their little meeting, instead of, you know, Canada actually doing something to work out a trade deal. So nothing came of this. It's all a game show. Reminder that these two countries barely trade together, Canada and Mexico. We have no pathway to notably increase it. In 2023, the numbers, 2.98% of Mexico's exports went to Canada. 2.18% of Mexico's imports came from Canada. So less than 3% of our trade is between each other. This is numbers from 2023. So this trip means less than zero. You're not supposed to know that, though. You're welcome. Very funny. Pierre Poilievre, of course, also called this out, leader of the Conservative Party. Prime Minister Carney returns from Mexico with nothing other than another fake deal about dialogues, elevating our partnerships, orient joint actions. Committees will meet, talks will be spoken, pictures taken. We've had free trade with Mexico for 3 decades. Today's visit adds nothing but photo ops. It's all photo ops so far. And there's also the big issue with the deficit spending, which we're not very clear on yet. Pierre Poilievre also points out that Canada has a 3 times higher unemployment rate than Mexico. That is true. The Canadian economy shrunk by 1.6% in the last quarter. That is also true. While Mexico actually grew by 2.4%. Donald Trump cracked down on the Mexican border big time, so why would their economy be doing so much better than the Canadian economy? Because we're avoiding the US, and we're not coming to the table to discuss any trade deals. So it's a big disaster in that sense. A lot of photo ops, nothing burger from this government. I want to talk a bit about Ontario, the province here. Ontario Provincial Police is refusing to participate in the Carney government gun buyback program. This is such a liberal thing. The program would require excessive training and overtime, which will lead to pulling officers away from essential public safety tasks like responding to emergencies. So, like I said, it's such a liberal thing for the government wanting to confiscate guns. It's something that we saw in the United States. Kamala Harris was very much in favor of a gun buyback program, which one could argue it violates, in America's case, their Second Amendment rights, the right to bear arms. Their argument is that guns kill people. On the right, though, the argument is that it's not the guns that kill people, but it's the people who own the guns that are killing the people. People with mental illnesses. And then comes into the question, what's been going on recently? The transgender mass shootings that have been happening here and there. We're noticing a pattern. This is all just pattern recognition at this point. Trans people shooting up schools, shooting up churches, shooting Charlie Kirk. Not necessarily, you know, speaking of Tyler Robinson, he had a boyfriend transitioning to a girl. A trans boyfriend. What do you even call this anymore? Whatever. And that opens the door for the Democrats to be like, see, guns bad. We support a buyback program, and this is something that must happen immediately. When that happened, we saw stocks like, what is it called? Smith & Wesson or something? Smith & Wesson brands. I think these are firearms salesmen. When did Charlie Kirk happen? September 10. Boom, look at this. What happened on September 10? Charlie Kirk gets shot. And the Democrats are obviously going to push that narrative further. Over here, this is, I think, what even happened here? Maybe Irina Zarutska. I don't know. But yeah, right? People, of course, buy this because they're like, okay, guns are going to become a rare, scarce commodity, right? That not everybody will have the luxury of having anymore. So we want to buy up as much gun stock because guns prices are going to go up because the government is going to try to take them away. But obviously that's not going to happen, at least not recently. Trump is signing that mandate to prevent weapons sales to people who identify as transgender. Trying to address the issue that way. Okay, I see the point. Makes sense. Because, I mean, yeah, if somebody is, quote unquote, mentally ill or has history of, I don't know, some form of drug abuse, alcohol abuse, mood swings, some psychotic diseases, you don't want to give them a weapon because they're lunatics. They're going to go commit murder with that. It's not like you're selling a hunting rifle to Uncle Joe out there in his barnyard to hunt down some bears or whatever to protect his family. That's one thing. But then just giving it to all these other people, I don't know. I don't know too much about guns or the gun problem in America. And, you know, even people like Charlie Kirk was fully in favor of the Second Amendment, of the right to bear arms, right? And he even said, like, I think it's worth the few unfortunate deaths that we get across the year from gun violence in order for us to keep that right. And he himself being a victim of that. So, I guess, yeah, in that sense, like, it's going to be an issue here. And we're trying to do the same thing over here, but the OPP seems like, okay, this is all a bunch of baloney, liberal government. Why should we care about this? We should focus on actually enforcing public safety tasks, responding to emergencies. I don't know, maybe the way the liberal government is seeing, like, hey, you would have less emergencies with less guns, right? But what about, like, other emergencies that don't involve guns? Anything else can happen. Who knows? What I do know is that we're about to spend $400,000 of our taxpayer money on gender-affirming care for city staff in Toronto. Let's go. Our tax dollars at work. Love it. I hate that. Pre-pandemic norm okay, working 5 days in the office is coming back for many Canadians, and for those mandated to return to the office, they face increased expenses as they prepare to spend more time away from home. I think I'm against this. Part of the reason why I stopped working myself, I did have the back to office mandate. It wasn't that bad. I had to go a couple times. Then they started becoming a bit more frequent, and eventually this was expected to happen, and it did. The return to office mandate, like, fully, no more work from home for companies that don't actually require it. It was becoming a big issue for me because they, like I mentioned before, the offices where I worked at, they moved locations, and it was a lot further away from me this time around. And I'd be spending, I don't know, 4 hours a day traveling to and from work in total. So it was really not that worth it for me. That's part of the reason why I quit. But now it's really hitting hard, and everybody's noticing this, and this is like, okay, come on. We don't really want this. They started rallying against this return to office mandates by the province. The Ontario Public Service workers are calling the Ford government's return to office mandate a slap in the face. They're currently in office 3 days a week and claim 2 remote days increases productivity, saves taxpayer dollars on leasing office space, and keeps roads less congested, which the roads are already as congested as they are. If you don't need your people to return to the office, like, if there is the possibility of working from home, let it happen. I would like to work from home as well. But a lot of it is hybrid, or if it is work from home, they require, like, a crazy amount of expectations from you. Whatever. Conservatives, they're starting to introduce a bit more of what their stance is, I guess, what they will be rallying on for the next elections. They introduced a law in the House of Commons on Thursday that would classify the killing of an intimate partner as first-degree murder. I have no idea what first-degree murder means, but yeah, it's murder. Conservatives also want a 3 strikes and you're out law that stops people who have been convicted of 3 serious crimes from getting bail, probation, parole, or house arrest. And they also want stricter punishments for domestic violence, with what we saw there with the you kill your spouse, that's a first-degree murder charge. Okay, cool. But this is where I kind of disagree. The whole 3 strikes and you're out thing. Okay, who have been convicted of 3 serious crimes from getting... You're not allowed to get bail, probation, parole, or house arrest if you've been convicted of committing 3 serious crimes. Why 3? Why not just 1? You mess up once really badly, a serious crime, you know, you go to jail. Because we hear stories like this all the time. Oh, we just, you know, the catch and release thing that we hear about, the whole... These people were on bail many times, were released on bail many times, and they're still out there committing crimes, and it just doesn't stop. It's like, okay, so what are we really doing here? Conservative Party is so tough on crime that they want to give murderers and rapists 2 strikes before taking bail away. Like, something like that, you take bail out of the question. Just arrest them for life, in my opinion. But we'll see. Shifting gears to crypto news. Let's talk about it. Today was the triple witching option expiration in the largest triple witching option expiration in history. We had $6.3 trillion in stock market contracts expiring. We were expecting to see some of that translate into crypto, and I guess we did, with all of these consecutive red candles, especially in the afternoon. So there you go. Triple witching, make price go down. Hope you enjoyed and took advantage of some of these drops. I did. So yeah, that's a lot of money. Bitcoin's average October return is 21%. We're talking about the next month. What's next for Bitcoin? If history repeats and we see another 21% increase, because on average, that's what it is, we could see Bitcoin at 141,000 by the end of October. Perfect. That goes in line with my expectations. My personal profit is at 135. I think I might chicken out at the end and probably increase it, or not chicken out necessarily, but get greedy is what I would say. When we start approaching those levels and I see those gains, I'm going to be like, ooh, I could make a lot more. And who knows, that could be my untimely demise, but we'll see. The RCMP, which is like the Canadian FBI, they seized $56 million in crypto, the largest crypto bust in Canadian history. I wonder from what and how. It's from Trade Ogre, apparently. Deserved. We'll see what Grok says about all this. And I hope they don't dump all this onto this spot market, because that would suck. Just make a strategic reserve out of all this, maybe. Yeah, it had to do with Trade Ogre, an unlicensed exchange, which marks a historic first for Canadian law enforcement following a year-long investigation sparked by a Europolice tip in June 2024, highlighting the growing international collaboration to combat crypto-related money laundering. Okay, so it really had to do with money laundering, I guess. Trade Ogre's lack of KYC requirements and failure to register with FinTrack, which is the Canadian Mika, I guess, if you're in Europe, or what do you even call it in America? Do Americans have FinTrack? I don't think so. It's basically finance something. Enabled it to process illicit funds, including $15 million in Bitcoin and $17 million in Ethereum. A practice validated by the blockchain analysis from Arkham Intelligence. Wow, snitches. Which suggests that anonymity features in crypto exchanges can inadvertently fuel criminal activity. That is why, like, we're so restricted over here. Everything is KYC and, you know, taxable everything and limits, I guess, and you're not allowed to buy everything. They're putting too much. This operation underscores a tension between privacy-focused crypto users and regulatory bodies, with some arguing that seizure punishes innocent traders, a concern backed by 2017 US BTC seizure case, where only 30% of claimants successfully recovered funds after a complex legal process per study. Okay. So, rip Trade Ogre, I guess, but what are we doing with this $56 million? I hope we don't use it to the government, because a good portion of that is going to transgender surgeries or something. Thailand now offers 0% capital gains tax on Bitcoin and crypto. Let's go. It is true. They implemented a 5-year exemption on capital gains tax for cryptocurrency trades through licensed local platforms, effective January 1st of this year to December 31st of 2029, per the Ministry of Finance. So this has been a thing since January 1st. Okay. But hey, cool. 0 capital gains tax in Thailand, if you care. I talked about this yesterday, and I'm bringing it up again because it's relevant today. The trading for Grayscale's digital large cap fund officially goes live. It includes Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Solana, Cardano. So that's good. It exists. The ticker is GDLC, Grayscale Digital Large Cap. We had the CEO of Grayscale come out to say, today, we're proud to launch Grayscale's CoinDesk Crypto 5 ETF, the first multi-asset crypto ETP in the US. This launch is more than just another ETP. It's a reflection of our decade-long commitment to being first, moving fast, and giving investors transparent exposure to the crypto ecosystem. So this could indirectly bring some volume to stuff like, what did I just mention? Solana, XRP, and Cardano, which would be pretty good. And Kronos is also getting an ETF soon. Like I said, with the approval of the new generic listing standards for commodity-based ETPs, including crypto ETFs, is just going to accelerate the process of many not tokenized ETFs, but many crypto ETFs to start coming out, getting approved, and very fast. And I'm expecting a lot of that to boom in something like October, where there's a lot of deadlines for things like Solana and XRP and more. We covered a lot of that before. Rex Osprey is going crazy. They released the first spot Dogecoin ETF in the US and the first spot XRP ETF in the US. Isn't that, like, good? Because I know that Solana got a big move when Rex Osprey. It's the only company, for whatever reason, they got like this, I don't know what it is, favoritism. They're the only company that has a Solana ETF with staking. Where is my ETF flows? Because we see Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana. We go to Solana and it's only Rex Osprey. They're the only ones that have Solana ETF. And hey, they've been inflowing religiously, which is a good thing. But now we're going to see Dogecoin and XRP. The tickers are out. So first I want to cover the Grayscale one, GDLC. Grayscale Digital Large Cap Coin. It ended up dropping today, but huge volatility. No, it's not huge. It's just $57 to $58. In the grand scheme of things, that's the kind of movement you're looking at. $1 worth of movements. Bit underwhelming, but hey, if you want some exposition into crypto on a US regulated market, you got this option. There you go. It includes XRP, Cardano, Solana, right? Instead of just Bitcoin or Ethereum. We already have ETFs for those. So if you want to diversify, you can do that. Especially for alt season, you do want more exposition into altcoins. Doge is the next one that was released by Rex Osprey. Doge ETF. Let's check on the CBOE. There it is. So this should bring, hopefully, some more volume into Dogecoin. I checked, but I don't think they were rising at all. Dogecoin is like, okay. Dogecoin, yeah, it's down 6% today. Like, clearly did not care at all. But hey, this drop matches this drop, right? It's supposed to mimic the same price. We also got XRP. Rex, I think, XRPR, yep. You should see similar drop, yeah, because everything has been dropping today. XRP also did not rejoice on the news that they got their first spot ETF. I already looked at XRP already, but why? Why are you weird? Just go up. Start going up. Whatever. Rex says, with these new launches, investors can now access some of the most recognizable cryptocurrencies in the world, wrapped in familiar regulated ETF structures. Brought to you by Rex Osprey, the team behind whatever this is. Oh yeah, SSK, the first Solana ETF with staking. Which has been performing pretty good, I'd say. Right? Because we're mimicking the movements of Solana here. Huge volatility when it IPO'd, of course, but since then it's kind of been mimicking the movements of Solana. It's been pretty good. I mentioned I was investing in Solana ETFs, and that was just the purpose Solana ETF, which is this one. This is in Canadian dollars, so that's why I have it. I think I bought over here, and I might have sold when it was overbought, rather, over here. Could have been here or could have been here, I don't remember. But I took profits on it already, and then I missed out on an even bigger movement. Since then, we kind of retraced a little bit, but you know, you got the movements of Solana. You know what's going on. Right? Lateralizing at the top is all it is, so no big deal. They're not leveraged or anything, so that you'll never see a price decay on this. So it should be good. Congrats for Rex Osprey. I'm happy for them. All right, Aster. Time to talk about it. The competitor to Hyperliquid now, based on Binance. New coin just came out September 17, 2 days ago, and I did not hear about it until today for some reason. Here's a video of CZ talking about this project from 2 days ago. So yes, it's a legitimate project. He says he is going to be making the biggest decentralized exchange in crypto. Why did you say decentralized DEX? What is wrong with you? It was at 79 cents at the time. It exists here on BingX, so new listing. Aster. This is the ticker, Aster USDT. It's at 92. It's up 40% today. Going crazy already. Hitting a high of 96 just a couple minutes ago too. I am too late on this one. I think I'll stay out of it for now, although I do see the upside potential. If we look at CoinMarketCap, it is up there at number 66, I think. Like already. Like as soon as this just comes out, it's already in the top 100. Aster, here it is, number 66. 65, sure. The only reason that I'm not fully going in is the supply is what concerns me. The tokenomics. We got 1.65 billion tokens in circulation. Cool. We have a max supply of token. 8 billion tokens. Cool. When are we getting these 8 billion tokens released onto the market? What's going to happen to the don't make me do math, 6.35 billion tokens? When are those getting released? And I also tried looking at the platform itself. It was pretty miserable, I was going to say. I don't know if it's because I'm in a restricted region. I don't know if there's any restricted regions for it. I know, for example, in Hyperliquid, I can't trade on Hyperliquid because I'm in a restricted region. They say, yeah, it's restricted in the US and some places in Russia and occupied territory of Ukraine from Russia. Weird for them to include that. And also in Ontario, Canada. And it's like, okay, cool. Why specifically this province? All right, anyway. They want me to connect to a wallet or something. I don't have a Binance wallet. Or at least I don't want to provide it yet. I can't use Binance either. It's restricted in Canada. So it's like, okay, what do I even do here? I could like circumvent Hyperliquid, but then again, it's like, what's the point? Why do I need a decentralized exchange? It's just a lot more complicated, a bit more fees, and I'm fine with what I've got. So yeah. The platform seems decent, intuitive, but it's like, okay, what do they really got over here? Well, they do got a lot. Not everything, though. A lot of this is USDT. I prefer to use USDC nowadays. Hyperliquid does have that. So it's like, okay, me comparing this to Hyperliquid, I would be more inclined to favor Hyperliquid instead of this. Although I think it will do good because Binance is the most popular centralized exchange, whether you like it or not. We're hitting all-time highs with BNB. And now for a decentralized exchange, this was a project that CZ was talking about. So, yeah. This is CZ's hedge against centralized exchanges. He made the #1 centralized exchange in the world. Now he will make the #1 DEX in the world. I don't know about that. People want decentralization, which is true. He will rule in both worlds. Keep in mind, this guy's also been in prison and he had to step down as CEO of Binance. So I don't know if I fully put my trust in it yet. But if you want to chase the money, yeah, I think this does have a lot of potential. Looking at like the price, this is an all-time, right? It started September 17, 10 o'clock. We're at September 19 today. And market cap has been steady growing. So from 145 million to 1 billion already, that's already a 10x so far on this coin. And if you want to see this reach something like the popularity or the market cap of something like Hyperliquid, which has 18 billion in market cap, How much are we here again? 1 billion? That's an 18x. We'll call it 15x, give or take. Which would bring this to maybe $15 per coin. There's a price prediction for you. Although I feel like that's very gleam. I don't think we're actually going to hit that. Like, that's like in the best case scenario where this just absolutely blows Hyperliquid out of the water. But I think Hyperliquid still has got a lot going on for them, right? They're most trusted. I think they're most popular right now. They're based on Solana, I think. I keep saying that, but I keep forgetting to fact check myself. I think they're their own blockchain now, are they? Surely they use Solana, right? Let me go through this. Implementation of Ethereum virtual machine. That is not true. I don't think that's true at all. I mean, it says it here. Who am I to argue against this? Are you serious, Solana? I guess it's not. They might be their own chain now. Maybe they used Solana in the past. I recall seeing that. I'm gonna have to study this more, I guess. I might be mixing it with Radium or Jupiter. I thought Hyperliquid was another one of those. It's directly on its native L1 blockchain. Okay. I mean, duh. That's why we have the Hyperliquid ecosystem here. Okay. Yeah, so Hyperliquid is its own thing. But Aster will be using Binance, right? And I think I've been confusing things like Jupiter. Where's Jupiter? I know I can search it, but I want to find it. Here it is. That's already number 63, which you're getting really close to what we're seeing with Aster already. And Jupiter does use Solana. I know that for a fact. Yeah, using Solana blockchain. Right? That's what I'm looking for. Okay, well, there you go. I spread misinformation. I thought Hyperliquid was on Solana. They might have been in the past, but no, they're their own blockchain. Jupiter uses Solana, so even with the popularity of Solana right now, Jupiter is number 63. Aster is already at 66. I think the growth could be slowed down a bit over here. I don't know, like I said, the tokenomics, what they're going to be like. When are they going to be releasing the remaining amount? Yeah, the rest of the 80% of the tokens, how those will be released. Will there be some kind of a buyback? I don't know yet. We don't know the tokenomics. Probably going to have to study that a bit more, or we'll see. This claim of Aster to $40? No. You're expecting that to be like near Solana or even Binance's market cap, I guess. Oh boy, do I have to do this math here? I guess I will. 137, okay. 137,031,371,212 times. No, divided by the market cap of Aster. 1,650,000,000. Okay, that would push it to $80. And this claim of Aster to $40, so half of Binance's market cap, give or take, which I said Binance market cap was 137, 140, we'll say. So 70 billion market cap. You're expecting Aster to be number 7 or number 8 on this list. I don't see that happening. Not even Hyperliquid is that high up. So there you go, debunked. That's never going to happen. Not even to 83. If it reaches like Binance's market cap, you're expecting the price of this token to go to 83. That is if they don't release any more tokens into the ecosystem, because if they do, and they will, because that is a big difference, a big gap, where's the 80% of the supply? Yeah, it's going to flood the market eventually. So it's going to be much harder to pump the price up. Just saying. That's my little analysis on it. So, okay. Final verdict. I'll explain after CZ's post here. Aster becomes the biggest Binance holder apart from Binance Hot Wallet, according to Arkham Invest. Cool. So they are really going in all in on that, on the Binance ecosystem, right? I think it's just going to be another DEX, and it's going to stay where it is in the 60s. Because Jupiter is not even that famous. Where did Jupiter reach at some point? Like at its height of its popularity? I want to check that. In terms of market cap, like who cares about the price? 3 billion market cap. Right now it has 1.6. Okay, let's just say Aster becomes just as famous as Jupiter once was. 3 billion market cap puts you at in the 40s. Sure, I could see that happening if Aster does indeed become super popular. 40s, but that's it. Like I don't see why it should continue going larger. Why it should be as famous as Hyperliquid. Hyperliquid I think is still going to lead the path, especially with their new stablecoin that they're coming out with. Hyperliquid is just seeing bigger trade volumes than every other DEX. So there you go. Justin Sun, of course, he's getting involved in his own little DEX war. I'm assuming, I've never heard of Sun Perp, but the revenue generated by what I'm assuming is a decentralized exchange from Justin Sun will be used to buy back Sun tokens. Okay, time to research. What is that? Sun. Sun, new, Sun, old. What? Rising Sun, Justin Sun meme. I'm assuming it's this. And number 130 in the market cap list. Is this a decentralized exchange? Yes, Tron's platform that supports stablecoin swap, token mining, self-governance. Not necessarily a DEX, is it? But anyway, revenue generated by this platform will be used as buyback. 100% buyback on this. Has a total supply. Oh, all the tokens are already out there. Most. I'm sure Justin Sun himself holds a lot of these. Do we have this? This looks interesting, actually. I don't like the guy, but... Oh yeah, that price action gives me tickles. Oh, this has been out for a while. How have I never heard of this? Yeah, this is the actual one. Anyways, he says, yeah, 100% of the Sun Perp. Sun Perp, okay. Sun Perp, we know. Can I see the website? I guess not. It is. Oh my gosh. So it is a perpetual DEX decentralized exchange on Tron. So I was right from the beginning. They'll spend 100% of protocol revenue by buying back Sun tokens. The buyback and burn similar to, I'm assuming what it's going to say, Hyperliquid. Ah, the brightness. Okay. Similar buyback and burn initiatives by Tron projects like Sun Pump. Oh, I'm thinking of Pump Fun. The buyback that Pump Fun is doing, all the revenue, most of the revenue that they're generating will be used to buy back Pump Fun tokens. This genuinely looks interesting. What's the market caps looking like? Do these correlate? No. You know what that means? If you see like the price high over here and then market cap lower, but then the current market cap higher, but the price is not as high, that indicates inflation. Meaning that there have been more tokens released. They have a max supply. I gotta study the tokenomics of this and maybe I'll invest in it because I have the option to. But I don't know who's really using Tron decentralized exchanges. But hey, the option is there. I'm pretty sure people will start getting a bit more and more into DeFi as time goes on. Alright, my last bits of news is this. Elon Musk and Twitter. They're cracking down on internal bribery. Apparently, there were some ex-employees caught taking payments to reinstate suspended crypto accounts. Action has now been taken. Cool. Scary stuff. A lot of crypto accounts, of course, are scams and they get banned. But apparently there's bribery going on with staff, employees at Twitter to get those accounts back. It exposes a major vulnerability. Internal actors at X were bribed to revive banned crypto accounts, undermining the platform's trust and moderation. That's a violation of TOS, isn't it? Community sentiment is heavy on caution. Users are re-evaluating who to trust, especially with previously banned accounts now in question. Many see this as a red flag for increased regulation and industry-wide calls for transparency. The atmosphere is tense. Traders are watching to see if platforms can actually enforce fair rules, or if this is just the tip of the iceberg. Cool. And there is also plans to improve the algorithm itself. The goal for your X timeline is to get out of the mainstream algorithm and the political crusades and find your niche. You should be able to post about your interests and have friendly, relevant people chime in. If you're seeing gas station fight videos, your account is not wrapped up yet. I do see gas station fight videos, so my account, I guess, needs some improvement. We're working every day to fix this, and Elon Musk quote tweeted this saying that the algorithm will be purely AI by November, with significant progress along the way. We will open source the algorithm every 2 weeks or so. By November or certainly December, you'll be able to adjust your feed dynamically just by asking Grok. That would be good, I guess, if you want to filter stuff out that you don't want to see, or if you want more specific information on one specific subject. Like it said, you're going to find your niche on Twitter. I don't know if that creates this echo chamber eventually, but hey, I think overall it will be good. And using AI to improve your timelines, sure, algorithms are meant to be smart, so if that's the way to do it, let it be done. And that is all. Perfect. Okay, so I guess I'll see you tomorrow. Not sure what really to expect. It's going to be a slow day. We'll see what news comes out tomorrow, if any at all. Last remarks here on Bitcoin. Hopefully, price action tells us we should bounce, but I wouldn't give too much credibility to that. I'm more inclined to believe a price decay, like I said. Let me see if I could remake my projection. I'm expecting super trend to rise to 114,000 due to lack of volatility. We could see a price decay, bounce off of that level. New pivot levels will also be generated, and then we can start rising again late Sunday, Monday maybe even, to retest the 118,000 because there's no reason for us to be dropping. And if this does happen, simply we readjust the uptrend and we continue our way forward. If that fails, prepare for 112,000, but that should not be an issue either way. Should be a good entry point, like I have my entry point. And we do have an uptrend here as well, if need be. But I don't think that's going to happen, so you're safe, 114,000 in my opinion. All right, there you go. See you tomorrow then. Yeah, not a lot of news, but we'll see. And make sure you like and subscribe, of course, as always. Thanks, of course, for all the support. Appreciate you guys so much. And until